This energy drink has been opened in my fridge for a week and it's still fizzy. And I'm drinking it because it's almost 9 p.m. and I'm still going to record this video and then I need to edit and it needs to come out tomorrow. So it's gonna be a long night. Cheers to you, let's go. It's everyone's favorite video of the month. It's the TBR game. If you haven't watched the last video for the TBR game, the TBR for the month of May, then click here and go watch it if you don't want any spoilers. In May, I had a lot of books to read. Ta-da! I think I had more. Let's go one by one and I'll let you know what happened. In this game, I get allocated books every month. That month, where things get allocated the first time, it's round 1. If I don't read them, they proceed to round 2, which is the following month. If I don't read them, they'll proceed to round 3, which is obviously the following month. And if I don't read them by then I had 3 months, which probably means I'm not very interested in reading them, then I have to unhaul them. So I had a few books in round 2. For starters, I had this one on round 2 that I didn't read, so it's going to go again for June's TBR and it's going to be my last chance to read this book. And then everything else on round 2 I read, kind of. We'll get to it. We had the Inheritance games, the first and the second. I had started reading this on the previous month, but I didn't finish, so it came here. I really enjoyed the start of this book, but then I was bored the crap out of. So I ended up giving this 2 stars, which then means I didn't really want to read this one. Even then, I still read like the first 5 chapters or so. 40 pages, I don't remember how many chapters, I don't know why I said that. I read around 40 pages of this, and again, I was not into the story at all. So I decided to just unhaul this, and I also have the third one on my shelves, and I'm just gonna unhaul them all because, yes, I didn't enjoy it. So that was the first 2 books. We had Powerless, which is the number 3 in the Chestnut Springs. I read this and I gave it 4 stars. And we had Reckless, which is number 4, and I gave 3 stars. I now only have 1 more book left in the Chestnut Springs series, so I'm hoping I managed to fit it onto this TBR so I can finish the series. We had the Twisted Games, which is book 2 on the Twisted Love series. I read this and I gave it 4 stars. Book Lovers, I gave this a 5 stars. Oh, I love this book so much. When I read this, this was my favorite Emily Henry book so far. But then in this month I also read her newest one, which is Funny Story, which was not on TBR, I just read it and I actually vlogged it for a different video. So you will see that video at some point. But that one is also amazing. So this and the other one. But either way, 5 stars for this one. Read it if you haven't. That was it. So those were my books on round 2. I read them all /unhauled with the exception of Carrie Soto is Back. So that one's gonna go for round 3. On round 1, meaning the books that got allocated to me on the previous game, we had One by One, a thriller. I still read thrillers, apparently. I gave this one a 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed it. This book doesn't have the best reviews, I don't think so. And a few people left comments on my previous video saying they didn't love this one, but I actually quite enjoyed it. 4 stars. We had The Similars, which I unhauled. I don't even have it anymore because someone on Vinted bought it. I unhauled it straight away because that book did not have an audiobook. And if you know me, you know that I don't read books without audiobook. So bye Felicia. Love Redesigned, such a big chunker. This is over 500 pages for a romance. And this is the same author as the Twisted series. It's this author. This one, however, was a 3 stars for me. Will I pick up the rest of the series? Yes. My only issue with this was that it dragged too much because it was too long, but the story was still fun. So yes, I will continue on with the series. We had Wild Love by Elsie Silver, which is the same author of this one. And I really enjoyed this. I gave this on Goodreads a 5 stars, but it's actually a 4.5 because it's not one of my all-time favorite books. But when I was reading it, I really enjoyed it. Read it. And then we had one more that I didn't read. The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. So this one is gonna go on round 2. Basically, we are starting June's TBR with 2 books on it, which is not bad at all, because if you watched my previous video, you saw that I started the TBR already with a bunch of them. I started with already 7 on the TBR. So I'm quite proud of myself that I managed to reduce this to only 2, which gives us hope, fingers crossed, to potentially finishing the TBR again. When I finish the TBR, my reward is that on the following month, I get to pick 2 cards when I'm playing my game and I get to choose between the 2 cards. But that was not the case this month, so we're gonna play as per normal, the base game, 1 card at a time, and I'll get allocated what I get allocated. One thing that I want to mention is that during the month of May, I unhauled a bunch of books. As you can see, by my empty shelves behind me. And not only I have 2 empty shelves here, but I also have 2 empty shelves on this one, and on the small one in the corner I have more empty shelves. I sold a lot of books during the month of May. I just went crazy. I listed them all on Vinted, and you know what? As much as I like having my bookshelves full and I love buying books, it just felt very freeing, and now I only have books to read that I really want to read. 2 things that I want to say from here, however. The only books that I have to read are the second and the third shelves. So this one and this one. The top one, disregard. And currently, if you are wondering, I only have on those shelves 62 books to read. I think I had like 190 originally, so you see, I got rid of a lot of them. Another thing that I wanted to say from here is that with the money that I made out of selling my books on Vinted, I bought a Kindle. But I'm telling you this because I guess this is related to another item. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, this intro is already super long. But there's the book luck jar where I have a paper for every single of my unread books. And I have some here to add. Basically, because I have a Kindle now, there will be titles that are not on my shelf that are on my Kindle. But to prevent me from doing one of those things where people just go and download 100 books for their Kindle and then they sit there forever, I'm just gonna download from my Kindle books that I think I really want to read currently, and I need to add them to the papers as well. And while we're talking about this, let's go ahead and add the ones for this month. I think there's 7. Usually the rule is that if I take out of the jar something that I unhold or I already read, like a reward for that movement on the game, and I don't need to take anything out. However, because I unhold so many books and I didn't reset the jar, a lot of things here that are no longer on my shelf. So the rule now is if it's something that I already read, then I get the reward of not picking anything else. If it's something that I unhold, then I'll take something until I get one. I hope that the things that I'm saying have been making sense. And I do apologize for such a big intro. But I think that's all I have to say. And now we are ready to start. If you've never seen my game and you want to know more details on how it works, I'll leave linked here the playlist. And on the first video, that's where I explain the rules. Let's get started. Okay, let's go for rule number 1, 2. And 1 and a 2. These are things related to numbers. Wow, highest rated book from own TBR. And because I've now unhauled so many, I don't even know what this could be. This is very interesting and fun because, like I said, I have no idea what this could be. So here's my Goodreads. Let's go on to in my bookshelf and let's sort by average rating. The other way around. I'm really excited to read this. This is incredible. This was one of the ones that I bought last month. Oh my god, I'm so excited. This is like number 3 in a series, but I do believe it's one of those where they are all like interconnected standalones or whatever it's called. And they match. Oh my god, that's gorgeous. Rule number 2. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are people that are not me are gonna choose it. Ask a friend to pick a prompt. That's exciting. I'm gonna hop here on my group chat and I'm gonna message saying I need someone to answer me ASAP, and let's fingers crossed that someone will answer while I'm recording the rest, and then we'll get back to this. We'll circle back. Or should I insert it here? Doesn't matter. Next roll. 3. 1, 2, 3. Another thing related to numbers. And on this one, we have the lowest rated book from the TBR. Okay. Earlier, when I started the other screen record, it was there, but I didn't pay too much attention. Okay, here it is. So basically, I'm just gonna revert this, the average rating. The house swap. I got rid of most of my trailers. Apparently, this made the cut. So I did read the synopsis of every single book I owned before unhauling them. So if this made the cut, it's because the synopsis did seem interesting to me. So I hope that past Manganet knew what she was doing. 1. These are activities. Here they are. So things not related to books. Make a Bookstagram post. Alright. I don't really do those aesthetically pleasing, like photos of the books or like anything. I usually just share pictures just so I can say something in the description. That's usually why I use my Instagram for. However, I will now make an effort. I did do a collage a few days ago of the book Funny Story. So maybe I'll do something like that, or maybe I'll just attempt at taking a nice picture of the book I'm reading, or maybe the TBR. We'll see what I do. I hope I remember to do this. Next rule. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, things related to covers. For some reason, I always find this one very exciting. A blue cover. A blue cover should be easy to find, right? I can go for this one. Because I unhauled so many books, I feel like everything that's on my shelf currently I really want to read. So now I'm just excited for all of them. And I need to choose just one. Okay, I'm gonna go for this one because the other one that I was gonna pick up is a chunker and I don't know what the TBR has in store for me. So let's go for this one. The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. I've only ever read one other Sarah Adams one. Was this one here. And I love this. I'm really excited for this one. This is brand new. I think it also just came out. Manganet keeping up with hype. Okay, next roll. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Book luck jar! I'm actually super excited for this because it's been a while since we used the book luck jar. Last month we didn't use. He's so full. Now watch me for being the boring bit, just getting something that is still on my TBR. I hope I get at least one that is not, because that makes it for an interesting video. Alright, let's go for this one. We got... Seriously. Alright. This is on my TBR. This is exactly what I was saying I didn't want to happen because... Also, I don't know if I'm in the mood to read this. I'll give it a try. But this is a non-fiction and it's basically stories of Qantas, the airline that I work for, told by one pilot or multiple pilots. Great untold stories of Qantas, the heroic, the hilarious, and the sometimes just plain strange. So the concept does seem interesting, but I don't know. I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll try and read like a couple of pages every day or something. We'll see how we get on. But it's one of those big paperbacks that is floppy. We love. 1. So that will be things related to the titles, right? Yes, the titles. We got 5 words or more on the title. 5 words or more, that's a lot of words. Let's keep things interesting. I'm gonna go for The Rearranged Life of Una Lockhart. No one ever talked about this book, but the premises just seems super cool. It's basically someone who wakes up one day and it's like March 5th, and then she goes to sleep, and the next day she wakes up and it's June 7th, and then she goes to sleep, and then she wakes up and it's January 3rd. Basically, she lives her life, her own life, but out of order. At least that's the understanding that I have of this story. I might be completely wrong. Also, I bought this book secondhand, and every time I open this book I get surprised by this, but this is so exciting. It has annotations. So it has pink for quotes, orange has a heart, and green nope. And then it has like little post-its here. See? And things underlined. And it's very exciting. It doesn't have too many of them. I've never read anything annotated by anyone, so this is very exciting. Before we proceed, let's circle back to that moment. And we have the contribution of Lau from La La Land. The prompt she gave me was a book set in the current season that we are in, which is spring. Now, I don't know how would I know which seasons the books are set, except perhaps winter and summer, just because you get the vibe. Now, fall and spring, I don't know. She also doesn't know how I would find that out. So she gave me a second prompt, which is a book with food on the cover. I was gonna go for this one, 10 dates, because they are having a meal, and see, there's food. But there is small food on the table. But then I realized I have this one, which the cover is nothing but food. So, in honor of Lau, here's the book with food on the cover. I think this is a thriller, even though it doesn't look like one. Is the author or something from New Zealand? Do I have that impression? Psychological thriller of obsession and escape by one of the most exciting new voices in New Zealand fiction. How did I know this? Sometimes I'm just impressive like that. So far, a very exciting game. 1, 2 things related to titles again. 2 words, title. Okay, this is good because earlier when I was looking for the 5 words or more, like I said, I have a lot of romances and I feel like romances have either 1 or 2 words on the title. So I'm excited for the 2 words. Let's go for 7 Summers by Paige Toon. I've never read anything by this author. It's a very hyped book at the moment and the cover matches my drink, which is always a positive thing. Will this be the last roll? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, things related to titles, and this is the last roll. So it's number on the title. Well, we have the 10 dates that we already discussed, which could also have been used for the 2 words title. Let's see what else we have. I only had 2, this and the thriller, and I'm not in the mood for thriller, so let's go for this one. And it's a nice and short read, a silly romance, I think. Doesn't match my drink though. I was really hoping that I would get a short TBR and go back onto finishing my TBR game every month, but with 10 books, I don't know if this is going to be possible. 1 is on round 3, 1 is on round 2, and 8 are on round 1. Here it is. The 2 bottom ones are the ones that are repeated, and the 8 top ones are the ones we just saw being allocated. I love the colors. Exciting! I always get really excited when I do these games. I think that's a good thing, getting excited, because it then makes me want to read. And now that I only have on my shelves things that I actually want to read, there's probably like a couple more that I could remove, like thrillers. Again, I'm not in the mood, but I didn't want to get rid of all the thrillers, so I still left a couple of the ones that I found the most interesting, but I'm still not in the mood for them. I just thought that from the hundreds that I had, those like 5 or 6 that I left are the most interesting ones. That being said, thank you so much for watching and for being here on everyone's favorite video of the month. I always get lots of comments of people saying they want to do the same thing and do a TBR game. Feel free to, if you want to adapt this game to your own shelf, if you want to try and do a copy of it, feel free to. I've also had some people saying I should just sell the game, and honestly, I would love to do that one day and create some sort of like file or something, like digital file that you can buy on Etsy and then like print it at home. However, that requires a lot of research on how would I do that, like a file that would be like fixed, but at the same time you could add your own prompts. Or perhaps I could just sell the physical book, but you know, mine is just printed on a piece of cardboard. So I don't think they would have enough quality to be sold. So for now, because I don't have time to figure these things out, I do appreciate you telling me that you love the game and you'd love to have it as well. So for now, feel free to do your own version of this game, more or less similar to this as you wish. But if you do, create a game that it's in any way resembles this one, or even if it doesn't, but it was inspired by the fact that there is this TBR game and then you made your TBR game even if it's completely different, then please let me know. I love seeing the pictures. There's been a couple of people who've done them, and I always ask to see the pictures and they send it on Instagram usually, and I love it. It's like the high of my YouTube career is influencing someone to make something so cool like a TBR game. Anyway, YouTube thinks you are going to enjoy this video here. So now that we're done with this one, click here, watch this one next. Thanks so much for being here. As always, I'll see you very soon here on the channel with another video. Bye!